Okay, so there's this really bold statement making the rounds in the AI world. RAG is dead. And we're talking about retrieval-augmented generation, right? The technology that basically just revolutionized how AI gets its hands on real-world information. So if the thing that just changed everything is already dead, you gotta ask, what on earth is coming next?
And yeah, this quote really hits the nail on the head. Look, RAG was a huge, huge deal, a massive leap forward. But our ambitions for AI, well, they've gotten way bigger. We're not just building simple Q&A bots anymore. We're trying to create these truly adaptive, autonomous agents. And for that kind of AI, just grabbing a piece of information, it's just not going to cut it.
So yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If the tool that got us here isn't good enough for where we're going, what does take its place? Well, to get our heads around that, we've actually got to go back to the beginning.
Right. Let's talk about RAG's rise to fame. Because seriously, to get why its role is shifting so dramatically, you first have to appreciate what an absolute game changer it was. It solved one of the most fundamental problems we had with large language models.
So think about it. Before RAG came along, an AI was basically stuck in the past. Its knowledge was completely frozen, limited to whatever data it was trained on. RAG completely flipped the script. It was like giving these models a library card to the entire up-to-date world, letting them pull in fresh, relevant facts to make sure their answers were actually grounded in reality.
And the way it works, the classic RAG pipeline, is actually pretty simple when you break it down. You take a whole bunch of documents, you index them, and then when someone like you asks a question, the system zips through, finds the most relevant little pieces of text, and basically hands them to the AI saying, here, use these facts to build your answer. It's a super brilliant, super direct way to stop the AI from making stuff up and, just make it way more accurate.
But, and this is a big but, here's the catch. I want you to imagine a librarian. This librarian is a genius, right? They can find any book, any piece of information you ask for instantly. But the second you turn your back, poof, they have no idea who you are. They've completely forgotten the conversation. And that, right there, in a nutshell, is the fundamental problem with classic RAG. It all comes down to two key limitations. It's read-only and it's stateless. So read-only just means it can't update what it knows. It can't learn anything new. And stateless, well, that means it has zero memory of past conversations. Every single time you talk to it, it's like you're meeting for the very first time. Every single time. And that's the huge gap we're trying to bridge here. You see, classic RAG is just stuck in this loop. It's stateless, it's read-only, it's great at finding facts, but it can't learn from them or remember anything for later. It's just matching patterns, finding similar data. But what we really want, our big goal, is an AI that builds a real understanding over time. Kind of like a person does.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract, nerdy tech problem. It has really practical consequences for you and me. An AI assistant that only uses RAG, it can't remember your preferences that you told it yesterday. It has no idea you moved to a new city last month. It doesn't know a project's status just changed. It's literally stuck in a time loop, starting from scratch with every single question you ask.
Okay, so that brings us to the next big step, the evolution. This is the idea that's really behind that whole RAG is dead thing. We're making a huge shift, moving away from just finding information to creating systems that can actually build their own knowledge. And that new idea is called Agentic Memory. The absolute key difference here is that memory isn't some add-on. It's not an afterthought. It is a core, central part of the whole system. And because of that, the AI can do so much more. It's not just retrieving data anymore. It's storing its own experiences, updating what it knows to be true, and recalling information intelligently, all based on context. So, if you want it in a nutshell, this is the big shift. We're going from read-only to read-write, from a stateless system to a persistent one. And the goal, it's not about getting a single one-off answer anymore. It's about creating real continuity, real understanding that grows over time. And check this out. Unlike RAG, this isn't a simple, straight line. It's a continuous loop, a learning cycle. The agent stores a new experience, right? Then it tries to reconcile that with what it already knows. Then it recalls the important stuff, and this is the most important part. It adapts its future actions based on that memory. It's a system that is literally designed to get smarter. Okay, so why should you care? Why does all this matter so much? Well, because it completely changes the game. It changes the kind of relationship we can actually have with AI. We're talking about the difference between a dumb tool and a smart partner. This new approach unlocks the stuff we've all been dreaming about. A personal assistant that actually remembers you hate cilantro, so it stops suggesting it.
An enterprise bot that understands the entire history of a project, the conversations, the decisions, not just what's in a Word doc. Or, get this, an agent that can do long-term planning because it can remember your goals and track its own progress over weeks, even months.
That's the core transformation right there. RAG gave us reactive agents. They could react to a question and give an answer. But agentic memory, that's the foundation for truly intelligent agents. Agents that learn, that adapt, and that actually get smarter every single time you talk to them. All right, so let's circle all the way back to where we started, that big provocative claim. Is RAG really dead? Well, like most things, the truth is a little more complicated than that. Look, when people say RAG is dead, they don't mean it's literally gone. It's more of a declaration that its time in the spotlight as the one and only solution for AI knowledge is over. It's not disappearing, it's just changing roles. You could say it's being demoted, or maybe promoted to become a super important part of a much bigger, much smarter system. So this is kind of what the new AI knowledge stack looks like. You've got memory right there at the very core. Then it uses retrieval as a smart tool to go out and get information when it needs it. And what's that foundational layer holding everything up? Yep, our old friend, classic RAG. So, no, RAG isn't dead, not at all. It's just been integrated. Think of it as the foundation. These new, smarter systems are being built right on top of it. RAG provides the raw facts, but it's the agentic memory that provides the understanding, the context, and that crucial continuity. And that leaves us with one last kind of mind-bending thing to think about. As we build these AIs that can actually remember, that have a true, persistent memory, a whole new can of worms opens up. I mean, if an AI can remember everything you've ever said to it, it raises a pretty big question, doesn't it? Who gets to decide what it forgets? Who's in control of the delete button?